Now to politics. In a new CBS News New York Times poll taken just before the current turmoil in the Muslim world, voters believe by a 10% margin that President Obama would do a much better job with foreign policy than Mitt Romney. Romney is blasting Mr. Obama's handling of the unrest, and with just 52 days until the election, the latest poll has President Obama leading Mitt Romney. Joining us is Jeff Zeleny, New York Times political correspondent. Jeff, first of all, what's the biggest shift in your view in this poll? I
think the biggest shift in this poll is that President Obama has taken away the advantage that Mitt Romney has had for months on who can best handle the economy. This has been a central core of the Romney candidacy, and it's about tied right now, but Governor Romney has had an advantage on this since he became the presumptive nominee. So if President Obama continues on this track on the economy, it's a strong point for him.
We should note these polls were taken before what has been going on now, the protests in Libya, the protests in Cairo, and around much of the Arab Muslim world. Does it come down to the economy still, in your view, or does this change the scope of things and change the scope of the election to be more foreign affairs centered?
As of now, the election is still about the economy. It's a pocketbook election, but that's a question that we don't know. There are 8 weeks until Election Day, so if the violence continues in the Middle East, it's certainly going to become more of an issue for voters. But as of now, at this moment, it's still about the economy.
So why do you see this shift in, I mean, the economy hasn't changed. You know, and we saw the latest job numbers. They're still weak. Why suddenly the shift on the poll, do you think?
I think voters have had a summer long to analyze sort of both sides of this. And the Obama campaign has done a good job trying to make this a choice election. Voters are open to the idea of firing President Obama, but they have not yet warmed to the idea of hiring Governor Romney. I think that coming on the heels of the Democratic National Convention, when there was an array of Democrats making this argument, including former President Bill Clinton, that helped on the economic side of this. But you're right, the fundamentals of the economy have not changed at all, and they're still quite severe for an incumbent president.
How much does this have to do with strength in the base and strength coming from the registered voters, which President Obama has an advantage in?
He does have an advantage in registered voters, but this is the first CBS News New York Times poll of this cycle to look at likely voters, and it's much closer in that respect. It's within the margin of error. So there is enthusiasm on both sides, but it's a little higher on the Democratic base in terms of supporting President Obama. There's still a good share of Republicans who say they would rather defeat President Obama than elect Mitt Romney. But a vote is a vote. So the Romney campaign still has many openings here over the next 8 weeks, but they know that they need to change the dynamic of this race. So look for them to give some type of an economic speech, some type of a big thing to try and shake things up a little bit before the first important debate on October 3rd.
Even before these recent events in Libya, this poll shows that Obama had an advantage on foreign policy. This is likely to probably strengthen that, isn't it?
It probably is, but we're still not sure. There's so many unanswered questions about what happened in terms of was there an intelligence failure or not. So in this poll, only one day of it was capturing the violence in Libya and Egypt. So that's a question we still don't know. But foreign policy has been a strong point for this president. 4 in 10 Americans say that they believe he's stronger on foreign policy. It's an area that Mitt Romney struggled with this week. We saw his campaign struggle to deal with this. We'll see how he reacts going forward.
Jeff Zeleny, thanks.
Appreciate
you being here.